V wasn't supposed to survive. It was too expensive, too chaotic, too rushed. A show where the creator walked away in fury, actors vanished mid-season, and a young woman was murdered before filming even began. Yet somehow, it became a cult phenomenon. Behind those reptilian masks and laser guns, canceled scripts, budget nightmares, recycled footage from the previous week. And oh yes, we've got a bonus fact at the end that'll blow your mind. Stick around. Here are 20 weird facts about V you didn't know, and they're stranger than any alien invasion. Number 1. Imagine this. You cast a young actress. She's perfect. She's rehearsing. Then her ex-boyfriend shows up at her door. On October 30, 1982, 22-year-old Dominique Dunn was strangled to death outside her apartment by her ex while rehearsing with fellow actor David Packer. She was preparing for her role as Robin Maxwell in V. Production shut down for 2 weeks. Some shots of her just the back of her head remain in the original series. Blair Tefkin was brought in to replace her. But the shadow of that tragedy lingered over the entire production. A show about aliens became haunted by something far more human and horrifying. Number 2. Kenneth Johnson created V. He envisioned something bold, a second alien race arriving to help Earth, potentially worse than the visitors themselves. NBC said no, so Johnson walked. Mid-production of the final battle, he just left. But here's the twist. He didn't want his name on what came next. Instead, he used the pseudonym Lillian Weezer in the credits. That's not creative differences. That's scorched earth. Johnson was so disgusted with what NBC did to his vision that he essentially disowned his own creation. The man who built the world refused to claim it.
I thought you'd be celebrating Liberation Day.
I ended celebrating a year ago.
And got right to work building a very fine security agency.
Number 3. Ham Tyler was a fan favorite. Tough, cynical, played brilliantly by Michael Ironside, then halfway through the season, he just disappears. Years later at Dublin Comic-Con, Ironside finally spilled it. The bosses wanted rid of him. No explanation. No proper exit. Tyler goes to Chicago and never returns. The Street Louis Post-Dispatch even noted the absurdity. Ironside quits mid-run with no apparent reason. One day you're a key character saving humanity. The next, written off like yesterday's takeout. Even the actors didn't understand what was happening anymore.
You all set?
Yeah. You know, you're not so bad for an amateur. But you're still a sucker for a sad story. And I'm not going to be around to cover your back. Take care.
Number 4. Spring 1985, NBC pulls the plug. But here's the problem. Nobody told the writers in time. The season finale airs with a massive cliffhanger. Fans waiting for resolution that would never come. NBC canceled the series after episode 19 of a planned 20-episode run. And here's the kicker. 4 more episodes existed as scripts, never filmed, never resolved. The production sets sat in storage for years while Warner Brothers debated how to fix the mess. They discussed sending the resistance to the visitor homeworld to stop Diana from assassinating the leader. None of it happened. V didn't end. It just stopped.
They'll fight. One of them will kill the other, which means an end to this horrid detente.
Perhaps you'll be lucky, Diana.
Number 5. Actors worked under twin pressures, terrible writing, and a hyperspeed shooting schedule. The result? Performances barely above soap opera quality. But worse than bad acting, characters getting erased. Some were killed at random. Others just faded away. No explanation. No goodbye. One episode they're there, the next they're gone. By mid-season, the show was hemorrhaging money. Solution? Write people off. Kill them. Pretend they never existed. It wasn't storytelling. It was damage control disguised as television.
I've been expecting you.
As far as the rest of the world is concerned, you're already dead. I could kill you right now and no one would even know.
So you were listening when I said that to you?
I'm changing one line. I will kill you right now.
Number 6. Robert Englund played Willie, the sweet, lovable alien everyone adored. Fan mail arrived in literal bags, huge bags. Those bags were later reused as props on other shows, but Englund was terrified. He went from, "Didn't I go to high school with you?" to, "Aren't you that lizard guy on TV?" He feared permanent typecasting as a friendly alien. During a hiatus from V, he auditioned for Wes Craven. The role, Freddy Krueger, in A Nightmare on Elm Street. It worked. The film released in fall 1984, shortly after V premiered. Englund escaped Willie's shadow by becoming one of horror's most iconic villains. Sometimes you have to embrace the darkness to avoid the light.
Robert, I will never forget you. You are a great, great zero.
Hero, Willie. Hero.
Number 7. Here's how much Willie defined Englund. When Freddy's Nightmares created Freddy Krueger's origin story, they deliberately obscured Englund's face. Why? They didn't want viewers thinking about the friendly alien from V. Willie's image was so burned into pop culture that even horror producers worried audiences couldn't separate the two. Imagine being so associated with one character that another franchise has to hide your face. That's the power and curse of iconic television.
Okay?
Oh, yes. It's fine.
Number 8. In 2008, Kenneth Johnson published V, the Second Generation, set 20 years after the original 1983 miniseries. But here's the thing, it ignores V, the final battle, entirely, ignores the weekly television series, pretends none of it happened. Johnson's novel is basically him saying this is what should have happened if NBC hadn't ruined everything. It includes the second alien race he always wanted, Julie's distress call answered by potentially worse beings than the visitors. It's literary revenge. Johnson couldn't control the show, so he rewrote history in book form.
Mr. Donovan and Mr. Tyler, how nice of you to see me off.
Number 9. In 1989, J. Michael Straczynski, who'd go on to create Babylon 5, proposed V, the Next Chapter. The pitch? Set 5 years post-series. Ham Tyler would be the only returning character in Chicago. Mike Donovan captured. Willie executed. Lydia assassinated. Julie exiled in Australia. Diana reassigned. Elizabeth dead. It was dark. It was bold. It acknowledged the cliffhanger and moved forward brutally. Warner Brothers passed. Too grim. Too risky. The V saga remained frozen in amber, forever unresolved. Number 10. After V, Jane Badler married Australian businessman Stephen Haynes and moved to Australia. But she didn't retire. She became an established nightclub singer, releasing 3 albums. Then in 2009, the V reboot happened. Badler returned, but not as Diana, as Diana's mother also named Diana. She's one of only 2 actors to appear in both the original series and the reboot. From beauty pageant winner Miss New Hampshire, 1973 Miss America contestant, to alien villain, to Australian jazz singer, to TV comeback. That's not a career. That's a saga.
Drop your weapon. Goodbye, Mr. Donovan.
Number 11. V was the most expensive TV series ever made at that time, $1 million per episode. Then reality hit. The weekly series had only half the resources given to V, the final battle. Producers were expected to maintain quality with half the money. The result? Stock footage. Recycled clips. Corners cut everywhere. They tried to deliver champagne on a beer budget, and it showed. You can't slash a budget in half and expect nobody to notice. Viewers noticed. Number 12. Recycling old footage is common in TV, but recycling footage from last week? That's desperation. Nearly all external shots in the pilot's Skyfighter chase scene were lifted from the original miniseries. Then it got worse. At one point, they used stock footage from the previous week's episode. Imagine watching a show where you recognize the explosion from 7 days ago. It wasn't homage. It wasn't clever. It was a production in freefall, scrambling to fill airtime. The special effects weren't just cheapened, they were insulting. Number 13. Kenneth Johnson didn't just create V for fun. He adapted Sinclair Lewis's 1935 novel, It Can't Happen Here. The book follows Berzelius Buzz Windrip, who rises to power promising to make America great again. He defeats FDR and immediately becomes a dictator. Sound familiar? Johnson disguised this anti-fascist allegory with aliens because NBC was worried Americans wouldn't accept a story about homegrown authoritarianism. The irony? By making it about aliens, he made the message even more powerful. V wasn't about lizards, it was about us. Number 14. NBC President Brandon Tartikoff thought Americans couldn't handle the fascism allegory. His suggestion? Make the invaders Soviets, or Chinese. Jeff Sagansky, vice president under Tartikoff, countered, what about aliens? Johnson was initially reluctant. He'd worked in sci-fi before and felt pigeonholed. But aliens allowed him to tell the story NBC wouldn't let him tell with humans. Sometimes creative constraints birth genius. Sometimes you have to disguise the truth as science fiction to make people listen.
Put the test on the monitor. I want to see what total victory looks like.
We'll destroy one of the moons of their planet they call Jupiter.
Engage partner.
Number 15. March 1985. V is canceled. But the sets, they stayed in storage. For years, Warner Brothers kept debating how to resolve the cliffhanger. Scenarios included sending the resistance to the visitor homeworld, stopping Diana's assassination plot against the leader, grand finales that would never happen. Those sets sat there like a museum to unfinished business. Eventually, they were dismantled. The cliffhanger remained. Fans were left hanging. The sets outlasted the hope.
Your security fleet officer?
Yes, at the leader's request. He'll be pleased you survived. I've ordered all assault commanders to the bridge for briefing.
What is the status of the fleet?
We've regrouped behind the Earth's moon to await orders.
Number 16. In the first two miniseries, visitors spoke with electronically modulated voices, distinctive, otherworldly, alien. Then the weekly series started. Suddenly, they all sound human. No explanation, no in-universe justification, just gone. It created a massive continuity problem. Why did their voices change? Did they upgrade, malfunction, decide human voices were cooler? Nobody knows. The production simply dropped it. Budget reasons, probably. But imagine if halfway through Star Trek, everyone stopped speaking in Klingon. That's how jarring it was.
All right, hold it. Drop your weapon. Continue to walk with your hands in the air.
Hey, boys, the party's up here!
It's the leader! Get it down!
Number 17. Episode 13. Nathan Bates dies. But there's a problem. He'd set up tanks of red dust to explode. If his pulsometer detected no pulse, they don't explode. Why? A scene was shot showing Kyle slipping the pulsometer off his father's wrist and onto his own. Problem solved, except they cut it for time. Result? A glaring plot hole that confused viewers for decades. The scene existed, they filmed it, then deleted it because the episode ran long. Sometimes the cutting room floor swallows critical information.
As Nathan Bates, the power broker behind the Open City, has died. Gunned down and badly wounded 3 weeks ago while negotiating a prisoner exchange, Bates is survived only by a son.
Number 18. The Street. Louis Post-Dispatch summed it up perfectly. V became Dynasty with lizard makeup and laser guns. Instead of conquering Earth, Diana spent more time fighting her rival for the leader's affections. One episode features Diana marrying her alien boss Charles. Soap opera plotting with a sci-fi veneer, it stopped being about resistance, about fascism, about humanity's survival. It became about who's sleeping with whom and office politics just with reptilian aliens. V traded its soul for melodrama.
You have no idea how appreciative I can be to those who cooperate.
Number 19. The guinea pig scene. Diana unhinging her jaw, swallowing it whole, iconic. Jane Badler later admitted it took so long to film and it was such a pivotal moment, even though now it looks completely silly and very fake. Kenneth Johnson wrote the jaw should distend inhumanly wide. The crew laughed during filming, but for 1,983, it was extraordinary. No CGI, just practical effects and commitment. Time hasn't been kind. What once shocked audiences now looks campy. But that's the charm. V was ridiculous and ambitious in equal measure. Number 20. Before Diana, Jane Badler won the Miss New Hampshire title. She competed in the 1973 Miss America pageant, then studied drama at Northwestern University. She came from daytime soap operas, so the amount of fame V brought shocked her. Suddenly, she was everywhere, the face of evil aliens across America. From beauty queen to soap star to sci-fi icon. It's the kind of career trajectory nobody plans. You just roll with the reptilian punches.
What a primitive planet.
Bonus fact. Here's the full circle moment. Kenneth Johnson pitched V based on Sinclair Lewis's It Can't Happen Here, a novel about American democracy collapsing into fascism. NBC was terrified. They worried audiences couldn't handle a story about homegrown authoritarianism. They pushed back, hard, but Johnson persisted. He disguised the allegory with aliens, made the invaders reptilian, gave them spaceships, and it worked. V became a phenomenon, but the message remained. Fascism doesn't announce itself. It arrives smiling, promising order, claiming to save you. The visitors were never just aliens, they were a warning, and maybe that's why V still matters. Because some invasions don't come from space, they come from within. It started as chaos, a creator who walked away, actors who disappeared, a murder that haunted production, budget cuts, recycled footage, cliffhangers that never resolved. But somehow, that beautiful disaster became a cult classic. V shouldn't have worked. Yet here we are, decades later, still talking about it. If you're into strange Hollywood secrets, production nightmares, and the weird magic that happens when everything goes wrong but somehow goes right, hit that subscribe button. We're just getting started. And seriously, drop a comment. Where are you watching from? What's your favorite V moment? Let's keep this conversation going. Until next time, watch the skies, and maybe the studios too.